Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the City Commission this June 17th, 2025. Thank you for being here tonight. Please take a seat if you could. Can you turn my mic on so that people can hear me? Okay. Please be seated, everybody, so we can begin our meeting. We'd like to end the meeting sooner than later tonight because I hear there's a hockey game going on here in town. Some team? I don't know.
Right here.
Oh, thank you. Panthers. Okay. Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. And for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. We usually start our meetings with a Pledge of Allegiance and followed by a moment of silence as well as presentations. What are presentations? They are opportunities for the City Commission and the community to recognize individuals, events, or special days here in our city. And tonight we have 4 such presentations, which will be presented each by a member of this commission. So to begin, I'd like to invite. Let's see. We have Brielle Brown and Sewell Hodge, 2 kindergartners who are going to assist us in performing the Pledge of Allegiance. So please come to the podium. And I may ask you all to please rise. Hi there. What's your name?
Brielle.
Are you Brielle? Hi, I'm Dean. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Give me a high five. There you go. Okay. Now, do you know the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
Okay. Now take your right hand and put over your heart. Put your right hand over your heart. There you go. You have to raise your hand. And speak into the microphone, and we'll start together, okay? Get a little closer. Come on, get a little closer. Don't be shy. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
Keep going.
I pledge to the flag of the United States and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, to the invisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Wonderful. And because you were so good, you're going to get to take this bag home with you, okay?
What'd you say?
The bag is bigger than you are. Here you go. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Want to have your picture taken with your mom? Oh, come over here. Come over here.
Hey, Mayor, this is my #1 fan.
Oh, really? Okay. Come on.
It's okay. You did a good job. Thank you, guys.
Huh? Yeah, I think so. It's okay. He lip sync. Thank you, everybody. And now let us all share a moment of silence. And while doing so, I'd like the community to recognize the passing of a gentleman who's been very much a part of the Fort Lauderdale community for many years, Emmett McTeague, who passed away this past week. Thank you very much. So before we begin, I have a few June retirements to announce. And we do this every meeting to recognize individuals who have retired from service here in our community for more than 20 years. And tonight we have 6 people who have really, served a lot of time here. First, we have John Heiser, captain in the fire department. He's been here 25 years. So congratulations, John. Eric Stern, firefighter, 20 years. Kathleen. You can sit down, by the way. Kathleen Thorpe, a claims analyst in human resources, 29 years. Congratulations. And this woman couldn't get enough. Vanessa Wright, Senior Recreation Program Coordinator for Parks and Rec, 37 and a half years. Wow. Lino Aleo, a plumber in Parks and Rec, 28 years. And Walter Dietz, battalion chief in the fire department, 30 years. So congratulations, and you all enjoy a fabulous retirement, and we appreciate your service to our city. So now, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Herbst. Present. Commissioner Glassman.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Here.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Here.
Mayor Trentalis.
Here. Full attendance. Great. We have one agenda announcement. We have a walk-on resolution to include policies for absent city commission members and board and committee members to participate in meetings through communications technologies, and to amend the city's remote participation policy by deleting a provision that excludes member participation through the use of communication technology in quasi-judicial proceedings or matters requiring a public hearing by law or ordinance. That will be a walk-on resolution that we will address tonight. Other than that, there are no agenda revisions, so do I hear a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst. Yes. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and the agenda and the minutes are now approved. So let us begin with our presentations. Our first presentation, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Beasley Pittman, who's going to present a proclamation. Here in the city of Fort Lauderdale, we celebrated Juneteenth this past Saturday with a community event honoring freedom, resilience, and progress. Tonight, we continue that spirit with a special presentation ahead of the official Juneteenth holiday. Juneteenth, observed on June 19th, marks the day in 1865 when Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and announced that enslaved people were free. While slavery would not be formally abolished nationwide until the ratification of the 13th Amendment later that year, Juneteenth had become a powerful symbol of delayed liberation and the enduring fight for justice and equality. To begin tonight's presentation, we're honored to welcome Charlia Gully from the organization Hued Songs, who will share a special performance in tribute to this meaningful occasion. And then following her performance, Commissioner Pam Beasley Pittman will present a city proclamation recognizing Juneteenth and its significance to our community. So please join me in welcoming Miss Gully.
Press here. Beautifully designated. Okay, I've prepared something. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. It is both a privilege and an honor to be present to open this City Commissioner meeting with a moment of reflection and celebration through song. My name is Charlia Gully. I'm here representing the organization Hued Songs. Our mission and dedication is to amplify the voices of Black and Brown artistry, to cultivate greater empathy, a sense of community, shared belonging, and we do this across South Florida through performance art. The annual Juneteenth experience is something that we produce every year, and this year is the 5th iteration, which we opened here in the city of Fort Lauderdale at the Parker Playhouse. So thank you for receiving us. It was an incredible opening night. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the city of Fort Lauderdale, especially to our city commissioners, mayor, and city manager Raquel Williams for all of your support. Thank you so much. Your commitment to the arts is a testament to this city's dedication to inclusivity and celebration. We are here today with the artists Janaea Harden and John Harden, who will be performing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is often called the Black National Anthem, was first written as a poem by James Weldon Johnson and later set to music by his brother, J. Rosamond Johnson, in the year 1900. James and his brother Jay were both born and raised in Florida, in Jacksonville. And here in South Florida, we stand on land deeply intertwined with legacy and rich cultural tapestries woven by African American leaders like Dr. James F. Sistrunk, Eula Johnson, Clarence Walker, and so many more who created community and belonging in neighborhoods like Sistrunk and Dorsey Riverbend. This song, born out of struggle and the struggle for justice and equality, this song has carried the collective aspirations of Black Americans across generations. It is a song as a call to resilience, a call to unity, and a call to hope. Let us now remember their voices as we raise our own. The lyrics to the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, are printed in on your chairs. We invite you to rise if you are able and join us. May these words of the Black National Anthem and may the melodies remind us of the past, inspire us in the present, and carry us forward together to a more just and harmonious future here in Fort Lauderdale and beyond. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Oh, stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way which the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of the bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we shadow beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
Thank you for that heartfelt rendition. Thank you so much. Wow, I gotta. You just made me cry, girl. You did. Okay, all right. Let me gather myself here. Hold on one second. Mayor, if you would help me out, if you can introduce the young lady who I'm presenting the proclamation to.
Yes, is Narissa Street here? Please come forward, Narissa. She's the founder of Juneteenth for Joy.
Yes. Oh, thank you for being here. This is such an honor for me to be able to present this proclamation. Whenever we're able to recognize those who are willing to stand and represent culture and be about the things that are passionate to us, it means so much because it's contagious. And I encourage you to continue what you're doing. And with that being said, I would like to read the proclamation. It is from the office of the mayor of the city of Fort Lauderdale. Proclamation in recognition of Juneteenth. Proclamation requested by Commissioner Pam Beasley Pittman. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation declaring that all enslaved people in the United States were to be forever free. And whereas although the orders marked a pivotal step towards justice, it could not be enforced in all areas until the Confederate control, leaving thousands in bondage for more than 2 years after its issuance. And whereas on June 19, 1865, nearly 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, to announce that all enslaved people in the state were free by executive decree, delivering freedom to more than 250,000 individuals and giving rise to the annual celebration known as Juneteenth. And whereas in Florida, emancipation was proclaimed when the Union forces arrived in Tallahassee on May 20th, 1865. Yet many enslaved people throughout the state did not receive the news of their freedom until weeks later, on or around June 19th. And whereas freemen and their descendants began to commemorate June 19th as a day of reflection, resilience, and celebration, with the tradition of Juneteenth spreading across the country as African American families build new lives and communities. And whereas Juneteenth honors the strength and the preservation of African Americans and serve as a powerful reminder of the continued pursuit of justice and unity. And whereas, inspired by the spirit, the educator, and the storyteller of Narissa Street launches June 16th for Joy in 2020. A community-driven initiative that began as a live stream uplifting Black life through the lens of mental wellness, culture, and community, and has since grown into a multi-year movement celebrating freedom through storytelling, artistic expression, and healing. And whereas now in its 6th year, Juneteenth for Joy continues to amplify Black voices and promote mental wellness through collaborations with local and national partners, including artists, educators, and advocates, with this year's programming focused on Black mental wellness, and community peace. And whereas the City of Fort Lauderdale proudly recognizes Juneteenth for joy and enduring legacy of those who use art, imagination, and joy as instruments in the pursuit of freedom and community healing, and further joins communities across the nation in observing Juneteenth, held each year on June 19th as the commemoration of liberation and a continued call to build a brighter and more just future for all. Now, therefore, we, as City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, do hereby recognize June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth in the City of Fort Lauderdale, dated this the 17th day of June, 2025, and it is signed this date by Mayor Dean J. Trantelis. Yes. This time I'll give you opportunity to speak.
This is incredible. It gives me great pride to be a resident of the city of Fort Lauderdale. And I also want to acknowledge somebody in the room whom, without him, Juneteenth for Joy wouldn't be as robust as it is, and that is Mr. Derek Davis right there. I wish you would stand up for me, please. Mr. Derek Davis, for several years, was the director of the Old Dillard Museum and has decades stood with the trailblazers of Sistrunk, holding forth and holding strong the history of our amazing community. And so I want to make sure that he is acknowledged, and his wife, who's sitting next to him. Yes. So please give them a round of applause. Your joy will heal us all. If you are not happy, if you do not experience healing, if you do not experience prosperity and well-being, we suffer. The world as it is right this very moment is speaking to that. And so what this says when I look across this room and see such a beautiful community that we have in Fort Lauderdale, it tells me that we need to lean more into each other's joy. And so Juneteenth for Joy is about freedom through the lens of joy. And when I'm happy, when I stand next to you, I can see your humanity. And it is the same. And so this is an amazing proclamation, and I really want to acknowledge Commissioner Pam Beasley Pittman for her vision and for the commission to supporting her, the mayor and the other commissioners as well, and Steve Glassman, who is someone who I have a personal affinity for your support of the work that artists do in South Florida. So thank you so much. Thank you. One last person I want to acknowledge, and that is my mom, who's right there, who is going to cut her eye at me because I'm acknowledging her, but she is an amazing support to me as well. So, thank you.
Do you need us to move that? Or just step over? Just step over. All right, there we go. Okay. I love a picture with the performer. Come on. Yeah, come on.
Mayor Dean, would you like to join us?
Yeah.
And Mr. Glassman, come on. Come on.
In the Panther
Mr.
jersey.
Glassman, come on.
Mr. Glassman, you have to be in here.
Thank you, Narissa.
Thank you.
Commissioner Herbst, the vice mayor.
Yes.
Let's get this out of the way.
Be in this picture. Sorry, Dan.
Do we need to? Are we okay?
Maybe we can
see
Photoshop
everybody?
this
Yes.
image.
Yay.
One right here first. Thank you.
One more.
Jeanette's got one.
Yes, the Jeanette files. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. I see you, Narissa.
So good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great job, great job. Thank you all for being here today. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Now it's my pleasure to collect a check. I'd like to invite Broward County Fine Commissioner Richard Walzer to join me at the podium to make a check presentation. This is basically on behalf of District 4 in support of the Shoreline Stabilization Project at the Bill Keith Preserve. Okay. How are you? Good. So what do we have here today?
So, the Florida Inland Navigation District, I'm the Broward County Commissioner for the Intracoastal Waterway. I was appointed by Governor DeSantis. And through the state funds that are collected through property taxes, every year we try to work as commissioners, Broward County, and there's 12 different commissioners throughout the state. And as a Broward County Commissioner, I try to fight for as much money as we can for Broward County and the city of Fort Lauderdale. And we actually have some grants that we're going to be working on this weekend, and hopefully for next year up to $8 million for the city of Fort Lauderdale. But today
You can
we
come
have
back as often as you want, Rich.
Thank you. But today we're presenting to the city and Mr. Commissioner Sorensen's district, $221,641 to the city of Fort Lauderdale.
Good going, Dan.
Thank you, Commissioner. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
Ben.
it. Thank you. I wish I was there to accept it, but thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
I'll accept it on your behalf.
Thank you. Don't cash it. Give that to someone responsible, please. Thank you.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
This is great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So a little break. Okay. Anyone else in the audience wishes to present us a check? I'll be very happy to accommodate you tonight. Now I'd like to invite Commissioner Glassman, who will be presenting a proclamation declaring July 11th through 13th, we're doing it tonight because we're not in session in July, as Flock Fest weekend here in the city of Fort Lauderdale. And I'd like to invite Steve Crawford, Iman Santos, John Santos, Greg Granger, Dan Johnson, and Eddie Willis to the podium to join the Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Come on up, folks. Just a point of personal privilege after that incredible proclamation for Juneteenth. This is really why it is such an honor and a privilege to serve a city like Fort Lauderdale. It's the diversity, it's the equity, and it's the inclusion of this city that is really a joy to behold. And you'll know more when I read this proclamation. But Narissa, the words that you said are so true. It really is what binds us together as an amazing city because we celebrate each other. We just take pride in what each of us accomplishes. We have an amazing city with amazing cultures, and we celebrate all of them. And that's why we're such a welcoming city. And it really is a beauty and a joy and an honor to represent a city like this. And with that, I would like to read this proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, City of Fort Lauderdale. This is a proclamation in recognition of the 10th anniversary of Flockfest, requested by Commissioner Stephen Glassman. Whereas Flockfest, the annual beach party that spread its wings to soar into a nonprofit powerhouse, will once again blend fun with fundraising Friday, July 11th through Sunday, July 13th. And whereas Flockfest was founded in 2015 by Stephen Crawford as a small gathering at Sebastian Beach with just 60 attendees and 30 floats, since then, it has grown exponentially, bringing thousands of attendees to Fort Lauderdale Beach for its flagship event, featuring nearly 1,000 floats. And whereas over the past decade, Flockfest has evolved into a driving force for good in Fort Lauderdale, supporting numerous nonprofit organizations through fundraising assistance, event production, volunteer coordination, and generous in-kind and monetary contributions. And whereas Flockfest has made an enduring impact on the local community by raising awareness and financial support for charitable causes, fostering inclusivity, and providing a safe and celebratory space for individuals of all backgrounds, especially within the LGBTQ+ community. And whereas the City of Fort Lauderdale commends Flockfest's leadership, volunteers, and supporters for their unwavering commitment to enhancing the social, cultural, and economic vitality of our city through service, advocacy, and celebration. And whereas on the occasion of its 10th anniversary, we honor Flockfest's dedication to community empowerment, diversity, and civic pride, and recognize its role in shaping a more inclusive and compassionate Fort Lauderdale. Now, therefore, we, as City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, do hereby proclaim the weekend of July 11th to July 13th, 2025, as Flockfest's 10th anniversary weekend in the City of Fort Lauderdale, and encourage all to join us in recognizing and celebrating Flockfest's meaningful contributions to our vibrant community. Dated this, the 17th day of June, 2025, and signed by our Mayor, Honorable Dean J. Trentalis. Thank you. Stephen. And Stephen's going to say a few words about this organization and event. Thank you, Stephen.
I'm actually going to keep it really short.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner Glassman. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. On behalf of the entire Flockfest board, we would like to invite everyone out to Fort Lauderdale Beach on July 12th for the Flockfest 10th anniversary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to get a photo. Okay, good. Okay. You got it? I don't want to block anyone. Thank you, everybody. Pleasure. Thank you. I like your tin.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, will I see you out there, Flockfest?
Always.
Always, okay. Thank you, folks. Finally, it's my honor to present a proclamation regarding Caribbean American Heritage Month here in the city of Fort Lauderdale. And I'd like to invite Glenn Joseph, Rosalind Alec Batson, and Gwinnett Gittins Roberts of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce of Florida to please join me at the podium. Are any of you folks here? Hello? I guess not. I'll read it anyway.
Caribbean? Yes. I've been to the Caribbean.
Yeah. Yes, you can become an honorable Caribbean American because of all the cruises you've taken in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, there they come. Here we go. They got a Caribbean. That's a Caribbean. All right, look at this. All right, look at that. All right, here comes the Caribbean.
All Caribbean
Okay.
stuff. Come on.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Here we go. We got the Caribbean. Caribbean's in the house.
Someone left their glasses up here.
Oh, I think I might have. Thank you, Mayor.
Are these yours?
I think they are.
Is there anyone who's not of Caribbean descent? I just want.
Caribbean too. Let's go.
Is Cuba allowed too? Okay.
Yes.
So, from the office of the mayor here in the city of Fort Lauderdale, I present this proclamation in recognition of the National Caribbean American Heritage Month. Whereas the city of Fort Lauderdale proudly recognizes June as Caribbean American Heritage Month, a time to celebrate the enduring presence of powerful influence of Caribbean Americans in shaping our nation's identity and enriching the life of our city. With deep cultural roots, vibrant traditions, and a steadfast commitment to progress, Caribbean Americans have long played a vital role in building communities, advancing public life, and strengthening the bonds that unite us all. The movement to establish National Caribbean American Heritage Month began as a grassroots effort as recently as 1999, led by Dr. Claire Nelson, founder and president of the Institute of Caribbean Studies, who launched a national campaign in 2004 to recognize the history and lasting contributions of Caribbean Americans. Whereas in 2005, the United States House of Representatives unanimously passed a resolution recognizing the significance of Caribbean Americans in the nation's foundation and culture. The Senate followed the next year, and on June 5th, a presidential proclamation officially declared June as National Caribbean Heritage Month. Throughout American history, individuals of Caribbean descent have helped shape the nation's story through public service, diplomacy, and the arts. From founding father Alexander Hamilton to, yes, to United States Secretary of State Colin Powell. Yes. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. Remember Shirley? Yes. Ambassador Sidney Poitier. Yes. Musical icons Celia Cruz. And artist and civil rights activist Harry Belafonte. Yes. Hail. Whereas Caribbean Americans continue to make meaningful contributions serving as educators, entrepreneurs, healthcare professionals, public servants, artists, athletes, religious leaders, and advocates who strengthen the spirit and progress of communities across the United States and right here in Fort Lauderdale. Finally, the city of Fort Lauderdale honors Caribbean American community whose culture, journey, and achievements are deeply embedded in the life and character of our city. Caribbean American Heritage Month provides an opportunity to reflect on the enduring legacy of Caribbean migration and cultural exchange, to educate future generations about its continued influence, and to celebrate the strength, resilience, and hope that define the Caribbean American experience. Now, therefore, we as City Commissioners of the City of Fort Lauderdale do hereby proclaim June 2025 as National Caribbean American Heritage Month here in the City of Fort Lauderdale, and encourage all residents to honor and celebrate the influences of Caribbean Americans in our community and throughout the nation. Signed this June 17th, 2025 by myself, Mayor Dean Trantalis. Congratulations. I'm not going to ask if you want to say a few words.
No, I'm not. I'm long-winded, so no, we don't want to do that. Not today.
Representing the fair hair Caribbeans.
bag?
Yeah.
So, bag. You want the bag?
Sophia.
Pay for the bag. So use the bag.
Sorry, Ben, but you look too Scandinavian for the rest of us.
No offense taken.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let us now proceed with the rest of the meeting. At this point, we move on to what's called the consent agenda, at which time I will ask members of the commission if there's any item on the consent agenda list that they would like to pull to discuss and vote on separately. If not, we will vote on all the consent agenda items together. Vice Mayor, do you have any items you'd like to pull from the consent agenda? No. Pamela Beasley Pittman?
No.
I have none. Commissioner Glassman?
CM5.
CM5. Okay. And Commissioner Sorensen?
None, thank you.
None. Okay. Hold on just a second. I thought there was one item I was going to pull. Hold on one second. Okay, except for CM5, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and all the consent agenda items except CM5 have been approved. We have one person who signed up to speak on CM5, but Commissioner, please go ahead.
Yes, no, thank you, Mayor. I did want to recognize the president of the Flagler Village Civic Association, Philip Dunlop, who's going to have a few words about this item. So, Philip, if you could just come on up.
Well, I'll call him after you've made your comments.
Well, I'm actually just deferring to the neighborhood association.
Okay.
I pulled it so that the neighborhood would have an opportunity to say a few words.
Got it. Mr. Dunlop, you want to come up and
Yes,
speak?
thank you. Because this is an item we've been talking about for a while, and I think he will best explain the position of the neighborhood. Thank you, Mayor.
Test. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Staff. I'm here, President Phil Dunlap, President of the Flagler Village Civic Association. This has been an item we've been working on with city staff for a long time. And I'm here really to support this item. It's a 2-year lease. We've worked through some issues. We're supporting this because we recognize the need for these services. We recognize the importance of community court. We don't want to feed into NIMBYism and say we don't want this here, but we also recognize that in a growing urban core in the Flagler Village neighborhood, as the city is maturing and really growing into the city that it's meant to be, that having community court in its current location provides challenges. Community court for very many years, and correct me if I'm wrong, was in City Hall, and it worked in City Hall. So this is not about the location necessarily in downtown, about the physical location of where it's at, which presents a lot of challenges. So we're supporting this item because it's a 2-year lease, and we want to urge the city, we want to urge the commission, we want to work as the neighborhood with the city, with city staff, and with the commission in this intervening 2 years on a permanent solution that's going to still and continue to provide the necessary services, but also be beneficial for the city as well as the city grows. And I'll just conclude my remarks by saying I appreciate and value the city staff City Manager Williams, Chris Cooper have been very gracious in working with us, and of course our District Commissioner Glassman, which has been very supportive of us. So we're here to support this item, but just reiterate that we're going to be working with the city and putting pressure on the city to come up with a much more permanent solution that meets everybody's needs, because it's much needed, but we need a permanent solution. So thank you.
And Mayor, if I could just add to that, and I just wanted to clarify, I believe the lease is actually not a 2-year, it's a 5-year lease, but the changes in this lease are important from the first time that we saw it, because it allows the city to opt out after 2 years, and for any other venue, whereas the original lease was 5 years, but 3-year opt-out, and it had to be a city venue. So that's a very big difference. I would only add this to the comments made by the neighborhood president. I want to make sure that we really do a good job of taking care of this site. This is a very pivotal site in Flagler Village. Many visitors are coming to town on the Bright Line right there. It has to be maintained perfectly. It has to be cleaned up. It can't be full of debris. There can't just be people loitering. We have to make sure that we make it a site that we're proud of while we're the renters in that site. And I just want to make sure that we do that. But I also understand the desire of the neighborhood association to maybe look for a more commercial site out of a neighborhood. And I know that we've been looking at those kinds of sites. I think we can get there, but I also do support what the neighborhood just said. In fact, I think we just should move forward with this. But again, really reiterating that we must do a good job, as the tenant in making sure that this is a site that we're proud of. That's all. Thank you.
I'd like to weigh in on this a little bit. And I'd like to look at this issue a little bit more holistically than just talking about a lease and the terms of the lease. That particular block has now become really front and center, the entryway to Fort Lauderdale. It's you step off Bright Line, and it's the first thing you see is what's happening on that block. And what we have on that block is a building that contains, we have our temporary space there for the community court. But there's also a convenience store there, which is a magnet for homeless people and for people who are, I think, bringing down the neighborhood. There's also a former Goodyear store there that's boarded up and looks unsightly. And I understand that the owner of the site is complaining to the city about how maintaining the community court there is detracting from the value of his building. But I have to say that the condition of his property is no better. And I'd like to put the word out to those folks that maybe they should perhaps demolish the building that they have on there. It's doing nothing to improve the neighborhood. And that's all part of a larger conversation as to what we intend to do on that site. Now, I personally feel that we should consider buying the building, because if we buy the building, we can also terminate the lease of the convenience store when the term is up. And it's my feeling that that convenience store really needs to find another location. It cannot remain there. And if we're ever going to be serious about cleaning up that block, it's got to include our taking the upper hand and trying to re-envision how we can better repurpose the real estate that's there that we're now discussing. I've talked with the owner of the McDonald's, and the gentleman is a franchisee of McDonald's. He does not own the building; it's company owned. So, even though we may want to move, his business to another location, he's fully prepared to move it. But the McDonald's Corporation owns the building, and they're not prepared to move their building. So that's a challenge we'll have to consider going forward. I don't know the CEO of McDonald's yet, but we may need to have a conversation about that. But in the meantime, at some point, I'd like the city manager to re-engage the owner of the building itself, and for us to talk about what possibility we may have in buying the building and ultimately demolishing the building and cleaning up the site completely, rather than just this hodgepodge approach to trying to make do with what's there. Because ultimately, if we're serious about urban redevelopment and creating a great urban experience when you step off the Brightline station or when you come into Fort Lauderdale down Broward Boulevard, it's going to include repurposing that site to something that's more attractive and more user-friendly than what we see there today. So while I do support a CM5, I think it's a temporary measure going forward, and I'd like to see the city ultimately buy that property.
Well, Mayor, if I could just, I think the reason that we're facing the item in front of us as the agenda for the rental is because we already went through this discussion of purchasing and we rejected that notion.
Well, I think we need to revisit it.
Okay. I will just remind you that the neighborhood was vehemently opposed to us purchasing the building.
They were opposed to our purchasing it because we were talking about permanently placing the community court there. I'm not advocating that we permanently place community court there. I'm advocating that we buy it to tear it down and use the space as part of a redevelopment site, rather than thinking that we're going to keep the community court there in a permanent location. That was the reason why they rejected it.
Well, that was one of the reasons. The other reason was it was way overpriced. The asking price, and by the way, there's been no interest in anyone purchasing this building. It's been for sale forever. And the price that was brought to us was way over what we thought was a fair price. So that was another big part of it. It just didn't seem to work out economically. And that was another part of the reason why we rejected actually purchasing the site. Again, a very overly priced parcel.
Well, Steve, let's talk about that, because in my agenda review meeting yesterday, I asked about that, and I was told that the price that was offered was very close to the appraised value. So we need to find out more than what. Chris, what can you tell us?
Yes, so when we were doing our due diligence, when there was some interest in purchasing this property, we did 2 appraisals. The average between those 2 appraisals was at $2.4 million. The letter of intent signed for the purchase of the property after negotiating with the owner was $3 million. So it's about a $600,000 difference between what the owner was willing to sell for at the time and what the average appraised value of the property was.
Right. So it wasn't that outrageous.
Right, but what I was told from folks in the real estate industry was that there's never been any interest of anyone purchasing this property. That's why it's been for sale forever. I also want to just comment, because I know you made mention of the Goodyear property. I do know that the owner of, I guess it's 11 North Andrews, and then also contract purchasers for 1 North Andrews, they're coming back, I believe, in July with an amended site plan. So hopefully we can get the word to them about what the mayor said.
Well, even before we get to the site plan, I think the building should be taken down. It clearly is, they're not going to re-rent the building, and I think that having an open space is much more attractive than a boarded-up building. And so, just putting that out there. That's all.
Understood.
But in terms of buying the building. Again, I don't know what the rest of the commission feels, but I think we need to revisit it, because I don't want to see the permanent location there for the community court, nor do I want to see the continuation of that business there, because it's just a complete detraction from the experience we want people who are visiting our city to be met when they step off the train to come to Fort Lauderdale, and this is what they're exposed to. I don't know what the county plans to do with their bus station. They keep meandering as to their plans with regard to a government center. The original plans for the government center were to shrink the bus station, and the area right in front of the Brightline station was going to be the location of their government center. That was going to be part of the joint government center, but nobody knows what their plans are. The latest I've heard is that they don't plan to build a government center. So we need to act on our own, take our own initiatives and not rely on anybody else when it comes to strategic planning for that particular area. So I'm just putting it out there. I'd like you to talk with the Flagler Village folks and see if we can, perhaps think a little bit more about what the future best holds for our city. And I'm hopeful we may be able to buy this building at a fair price that will ultimately achieve the goals we're seeking to achieve, which is a better Flagler Village.
So, Mayor, I've got several thoughts on this.
Yes, please go ahead.
So first, I concur with the overall philosophy that we need to enhance that area as a gateway to the city for folks coming in on the Bright Line and hopefully a future commuter rail. But I do think it's way overpriced, and the fact that nobody in the private sector has shown any interest in it whatsoever should validate the fact that what they're asking for it and what we're looking to pay is not market value. The market is what the private sector determines the property is worth. We have more than enough developers who would be interested in it if they thought it was priced right. So I think until we start getting competition from the private sector, then I think they're looking at us as deep pockets who are willing to overpay, and we've done that before.
Well, the fair market value of any property is what a willing buyer is willing to pay a willing seller.
In an arm's length transaction.
In an arm's length transaction,
right?
Yeah.
And for its highest and best use. And government is not exactly got a track record of being the best buyers of property. So I'll just leave it at that. Two other issues though.
Yes.
That relate to that. Leaving price aside. So I'm fond of taking everybody on a history lesson. So I'll take you there tonight. Years ago, we tried to move our feeding program out of downtown. You remember we
homeless
formed our homeless feeding program out of downtown, and you may recall we formed a committee to do that, and we looked all over the downtown area trying to find a place to do it. Let me take you back even further than that. The reason we're looking in the downtown area is because we lost another lawsuit when we tried to relocate the homeless population up to the executive airport, and the court determined that was too far away from where the homeless population was naturally congregating and where all the other support services are, Salvation Army, things of that nature. So if we transported folks up to the executive airport 10 miles away from downtown, we would then have to transport them back, and that wasn't considered to be appropriate, and the court rejected that. So whatever we need to do with our homeless population that's downtown in terms of community court needs to be somewhere within the proximity of where the homeless folks are naturally congregating today. Again, we've already lost that lawsuit. The other issue with that, again, when we tried to find a location in the downtown area, our committee worked for over a year, if not longer, trying to find a suitable location, and they never could. Part of the reason that community court works in this location is that there's no residential there. What we ran into was we didn't want to be near residential. We didn't want to be near a school. We didn't want to be near a daycare center. We didn't want to be near a faith-based environment. I mean, there were so many things that we didn't want to be next to that there was virtually nothing left in all of downtown that would be suitable for that location. And that's why we were never able to come up with a alternative feeding site for the food programs. And that's why we still have it going on down around the park downtown. So that's how it wound up in that location without a lot of objection, amongst other reasons. But because there's no residential there, there's some commercial there, and it wasn't going to generate the opposition that we found when we had it proposed for other locations. And I bring all up to say I'm absolutely fine with moving it out of that location. I think that's the best thing for that area. But I want to know where we're going to move it to. And the devil is going to be in the details. So I have no problem with saying that, we'll change this from 5 years to 2 years as long as we don't have to be out in 2 years. And I'm glad you corrected that statement, because when I hear people say we're going to be out of there in 2 years as a 2-year lease, I need to say stop. No, it's not. It's a 5-year lease with a 2-year option for us to get out. So I think that's important. But also, I think it's critical that we recognize just how difficult it's going to be to relocate community court somewhere. Candidly, nobody wants a large influx of homeless individuals into their community. It's happening organically. I know in my district in Christchurch, they've got a program and they do feeding there and they do other services for it. And unfortunately, the homeless don't disperse after they get all those programs. And it's become hugely problematic for that district. You've seen and heard the complaints from those folks up and down that street. So wherever we move this to, I can promise you the neighborhood pushback is going to be extreme. So we better start working today if we're moving out in 3 to 5 years, because community courts, I'm sorry, I just want to finish this thought. Yeah. Community court is critically important for us as we begin to look at how we're dealing with our anti-camping ordinance. You know, when these folks are getting a notice to appear, they're getting diversion program, going to community court, this is the way that we help those folks that we are trying to get off the street, off our park benches, you know, off of the public spaces where they're no longer allowed to be. We've got to get them into a program. This is the program that we've got. This is the tool that we've got to do it. We need to maintain community court. It's got to be somewhere. So I'm asking that our staff begin to really work very hard on trying to find a location for this, because I can tell you from experience, it's not going to be easy. I challenge you to find a location.
Okay, so as we all know, community court meets 1 day a week for 2 hours, and you know, there are other opportunities and natural locations for a facility and an operation like this. One of which would be next to the hack, and we can begin a conversation with the Homeless Assistance Center to have office space and an area with which we can utilize space in order to have representatives for health care and mental illness and housing and all the other services that are associated with the community court. And so I don't think it's going to be as difficult as you might suggest, and I don't think it's going to be as unrealistic to perhaps try to establish it next to an area that's already identified as working with homeless folks. So I think we have the chance. In the meantime, I think we really need to think about how we can acquire the building, whether it be by outright purchase or whether it be through eminent domain. If you folks think that it's too far above the appraised value to want to pay the amount that the seller is asking, then perhaps let's begin eminent domain proceedings now.
Oh, Lord, Doe, you remember what happened when we did that by the police station? That took us years. It cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, and we wound up spending close to $1 million over the value. Oh, I hope we don't go down that path.
Okay. Well, I'm just putting it out there. As you know, I think these are options that any city can utilize given its governing power. But I'm just telling you right now that I don't think it's impossible to negotiate with the seller, and I think that renting it for the 2 years is fine for now. But I don't think that's the final answer for the situation that we've now been confronted with. So, just putting it out there, and I just wanted to.
Mayor, if I could.
Yes, Ben. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Just wanted to contribute a little bit there. So I meet about every 2 to 3 weeks with our core homeless service providers across the city to work on solutions, and we're making some good progress. And in those discussions with the service providers, one of the things we're talking about is trying to find the right place for community court. So with Chris Cooper's leadership, we're kind of working on that from at least from my side, in addition to Commissioner Glassman is as well, and others. So that effort continues. And Vice Mayor, just a little correction. There is not a city-led food sharing effort downtown. I think you mentioned near Stranahan Park. I just want to correct that. What we're doing is really working on partnering with service providers to have food sharing at service providers' locations. So just want to share that as well.
So, Commissioner, what I was indicating is that years ago when we tried to stop the organizations like Food Not Bombs from distributing in front of Stranahan Park, we reached a compromise wherein we said if the city would establish a formal location that would include bathrooms, include kitchen facilities, include everything that we're required to have, that they would gladly relocate to that city designated facility. And unfortunately, we were never able to establish a city designated facility for the reasons articulated. And so therefore it never came into being.
Okay, great. I thought you were inferring that something was going on right now. So
Okay.
great.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Just one other thing, Mayor.
Yes,
I just
go
want
right
to
ahead.
say, and to add to this conversation as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
With this opportunity for the 5-year lease with the 2-year, going back to review it to see if we want to move
2-year
on to
option,
somewhere, the 2-year option. I want to meet with Chris Cooper and have some more detailed conversation about what's actually in play and then additional options. Being a part of the Continuum Board, we have these conversations, but also we have to get that right peg for the whole. So I look forward to Chris speaking with you in more detail, and that way I'll feel more comfortable in the direction that we go in. To add to the conversation.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, let's have that conversation, and let's realize that this is not a permanent solution, and that we really need to find something that is more appropriate. So, Commissioner Glassman, do you want to introduce the motion?
Yes, thanks. Move to
CM5 has now been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and CM5 is now approved. Moving on to M1, motion approving an increase in the contract capacity to the annual sewer repairs and replacement agreements. Thank you, folks, for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. Do I hear a motion to approve? Do I hear a motion to approve M1?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and M1 is now approved. We have the walk-on resolution, which I referenced earlier, amending resolution number 2525 to include policies for absent city commission and board and committee members. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced. Does anyone have any questions about it? There being no questions, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending resolution number 25-25 to amend policies for absent City Commission and Board and committee members to participate in meetings through communications technology by deleting a provision that excludes member participation through the use of communications technology in quasi-judicial proceedings or matters requiring a public hearing by law or ordinance, and providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that resolution is now approved.
Sorry, Mayor, I just can't hear Vice Mayor when he's voting. Is there?
He said
I don't know
yes.
if it's
He said yes.
issue with the mic. Okay.
He speaks softly.
Okay.
But
If
carries a
you
big
can
stick.
speak in the mic here. Thank you.
Okay, PH1. This is a public hearing, a resolution to approve a termination of an existing lease and authorization of a new lease agreement between the city and Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida for a portion of Holiday Park along North Federal Highway pursuant to Section 8.13 of the city charter, and to delegate authority to the proper city officials to execute the lease, delegate authority to the city manager to execute certain instruments. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
No one is. Hold on. The only person. Wait a minute. Anyone sign up to speak here? No one has. Oh, yes. We're a little out of order. Cheryl, this is just if people ask questions, right? Where's Cheryl? There you are. Just ask questions, right?
And just a reminder, Mayor, this requires a unanimous vote from the City Commission.
Yep. Okay, so no one has signed up to speak. Would someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing on PH1 is now closed. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, authorizing the termination of the existing lease agreement with Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., approving a new lease agreement between the City of Fort Lauderdale and Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., for a portion of Holiday Park along North Federal Highway pursuant to Section 8.13 of the City Charter for a period not to exceed 50 years for an annual rent of $1 per year, repealing any and all resolutions in conflict herewith, authorizing execution of the lease agreement and any and all other documents incidental or necessary thereto by the proper city officials, delegating authority to the city manager to execute certain documents, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and PH1 is now approved. PH2, public hearing, resolution approving the transfer of funds program for Parks Land Acquisition in the amount of $1 million from Commission District 1 and $1 million from Commission District 2 for a combined total funds transfer amount of $2 million from the Parks and Recreation General Obligations Bond pursuant to City of Fort Lauderdale Resolution number 18-261 and Resolution number 20-08 to assist with the construction costs of a public pool at the Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., located at Holiday Park. Again, one person signed up to speak, Cheryl. No one else? Anyone else wish to speak on this item? There's nobody else. Boy, Cheryl, you signed up to speak on a lot of things. It's all about the why tonight, right?
6 items.
Yes. Someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing on PH2 is now closed. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Resolution's been introduced. This is the regular majority, right, Dwayne?
That's correct.
Okay. The resolution's been introduced. Please call the roll.
1 second.
Am I moving too fast for you?
I think I pulled up the wrong resolution to read, so just give me
Okay,
one.
take your time. Take your time. The puck doesn't drop for another hour.
I'll read it for you if you'd like.
It's PH2, correct?
Yes. PH2.
Yeah, I definitely pulled up the wrong one.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, go
All
for
right.
it. All right.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving the transfer of funds program for Parks Land Acquisition in amount of $1 million from Commission District 1 and $1 million from Commission District 2 for a combined total funds transfer amount of $2 million from the City of Fort Lauderdale Parks and Recreation General Obligation Bonds pursuant to the City of Fort Lauderdale Resolution number 18-261 and 20-08 to assist with the construction costs of a public swimming pool at the YMCA facility located at Holiday Park, provided for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Gotta love this cooperation between District
Right.
1 and District 2. Yes. Yes.
All the time.
Yes. What a team.
Keep going.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes. Don't be distracted.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman always wants us to work with each other.
Snatch the feet from the jaws of victory.
R1, appointment of, and that resolution is now passed. Thank you. R1, appointment of board and committee members. Mr. Clerk, would you like to read the names into the record?
Yes. For the June 30th resolution, Beach Business Improvement District Advisory Committee, Stuart Levy, representing Hotel Marin, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Sustainability Advisory Boards, Susie Bailey, nominated by Mayor Trentalis. And for tonight's resolution, Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, Latasha Gorman, nominated by Mayor Trentalis. Code Enforcement Board, Ed Murphy, nominated by Commissioner Sorensen. Education Advisory Board, Kevin Cochran, nominated by Commissioner Sorensen. And we did have one that we removed, Dan McCauley, for the Charter Revision Board. He had resigned.
Who resigned?
Dan McCauley.
Oh, okay.
Prior or after the agenda was published. So
Okay.
we're just going to remove his name from it.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, any modifications or additions? There being none, someone would like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
The resolution has been introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, appointing or nominating, if applicable, board and committee members as set forth in the exhibit attached hereto and made a part hereof. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R1 is now approved. R2, quasi-judicial resolution approving the vacation of an easement located at 1512 Northwest 19th Street, the Dejani Family Holding LLC. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Vice Mayor, do you have any disclosures? Cheryl, you signed up to speak on this? No.
Would you like to?
It says you did. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I spoke with the applicant.
Who's the applicant?
I don't know.
Okay. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
I'm going to say no. I don't remember speaking to anyone regarding this.
No.
Is there an attorney here representing them? Okay. I don't recall any particular disclosures. This is Becker Polyakov, who represents them, and I don't recall having a conversation with them. Commissioner Glassman?
I have no disclosures.
Commissioner Sorensen?
None.
Okay. Would someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll on closing public hearing on R2.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed. Someone like to introduce R2?
Introduce.
R2 is now introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vacating the north 2.50 feet of that certain 10-foot retained utility easement recorded in the official records book 12602, page 611, and being south of and adjacent to Track A re-subdivision of Block 23, Lauderdale Manors, amended according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 35, page 14, all of the public records of Broward County, Florida, located east of Lauderdale Manor Drive, north of Northwest 18th Court, west of Northwest 15th Avenue, and south of Northwest 19th Street, all said lands being the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R2 is now approved. Moving on to R3, this is a resolution authorizing execution of a non-exclusive easement with the YMCA at Holiday Park for a portion of 610 Northeast 9th Street in Fort Lauderdale. One person has signed up to speak just for questions, I assume.
That's Cheryl?
Yeah. What made you guess? Would someone like anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being no one, would someone like to introduce the resolution for R3?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, authorizing the execution of a shared parking and cross-access easement with Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc. at Holiday Park for a portion of 610 Northeast 9th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, all subject to further terms and conditions, repealing any and all resolutions in conflict herewith, authorizing execution of same by the proper city officials, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R3 is now approved. R4, this is a resolution approving a sublease agreement between the Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida and the North Broward Hospital District, a recognition agreement between Broward Health, the YMCA, and the City of Fort Lauderdale, an environmental indemnity agreement between Broward Health and the city, and authorizing the city manager to execute all agreements. We have one person to sign up to speak. Guess.
Charlotte.
No one else has signed up to speak. All right. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Anyone have any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving a sublease between North Broward Hospital District and the Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., approving an environmental indemnity agreement and a recognition agreement by and between the North Broward Hospital District, Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., and the City of Fort Lauderdale, delegating authority to the city manager to execute the agreements and any and all instruments or documents incidental thereto, repealing any and all resolutions in conflict herewith, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R4 is now approved. Moving on to R5. This is a resolution approving a grant agreement between the City of Fort Lauderdale and the Young Men's Christian Association of South Florida in the amount of $2 million for the construction costs of a public pool complex at the YMCA facility located at Holiday Park. One person is signed up to speak for questions. Anyone else wish to speak on this? If not, would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
The resolution has been introduced. Any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving grant agreement between the City of Fort Lauderdale and Young Men Christian Association of South Florida, Inc., authorizing the contribution of grant funds in the amount of $2 million to the YMCA, all subject to further terms and conditions, repealing any and all resolutions in conflict herewith, authorizing execution of the same by the proper city officials, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and R5 is now approved. Congratulations. When are we going to see it finished? PH3, public hearings are now continued. This is a public hearing, an ordinance approving a public purpose use and structure for a 49,548 square foot community recreation facility and a 12,842 square foot Broward Health Hospital Emergency Department with associated parking reduction. The one person has signed up to speak, but just for questions. Excuse me, two people have signed up to speak, but just for questions. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduce.
Oh, wait. We got to do close public hearing, right? Yeah. Please move to close public hearing.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll on closing public hearing on PH3.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and public hearing is now closed on PH3. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Please call the roll.
An ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving as a public purpose use and structure a community recreation facility and emergency medical facility pursuant to Section 47-18.26 of the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations, located on a parcel legally described as all of lots 5 through 21, less right-of-way for North Federal Highway, Block 252, all of lots 1 through 6, and lots 34 through 48, and the west 7.5 feet of lots 7 through 15, Block 251, Progresso, according to the plat thereof, recorded in Plat Book 2, page 18 of the Public Records of Dade County, Florida, all of lots 28 through 33, and the west 18 feet of lots 17 through 21, replat of a portion of Block 251 Progresso, according to the plat thereof, recording in Plat Book 47, page 30 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, together with a portion of the vacated Northwest 6th Terrace located east of North Federal Highway, north of Northeast 8th Street, west of Northeast 7th Avenue, and south of Northeast 9th Street, said land situate, lying, and being the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, granting relief from specific zoning regulations and approving an associated conceptual site plan. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and PH3 is now approved. PH4, this is a public quasi-judicial ordinance approving a medical office building with request for design deviation and application of prior zoning regulation. The Broward Health Medical Center medical office building and parking garage, North Broward Hospital District. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the Commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Vice Mayor, do you have any disclosures?
I'm sorry. Come on back to me on that one.
I think it was probably Ms. Toothaker.
Yeah, I'm just looking through this, pulling up my notes. Yep, met with Ms. Toothaker. I think that was it.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Would have been Toothaker.
also with Stephanie Toothaker and her client, Commissioner Glassman.
Met with Stephanie Toothaker June 16th, 2025.
And Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes, Stephanie Toothaker.
Okay. All right, those are the disclosures. Anyone wishing to speak, it's just Ms. Toothaker for questions only. So would someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, so public hearing is now closed on PH4. Someone please introduce the ordinance.
Introduce.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
In ordinance approving the application of a prior zoning regulation of community business district as provided in section 47-6.20 of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Unified Land Development Regulations for the development of property legally described as all of lots 11 through 18, block 35, Croissant Park, according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 4, page 28 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, together with lots 1 through 30, re-subdivision of block 38, Croissant Park, according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 52, page 8 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, and all of the vacated Southwest 16th Street located east of Southwest 1st Avenue, north of Southwest 17th Street, west of South Andrews Avenue, and south of Southwest 15th Street, all said land situate, lying, and being in the City of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, pursuant to Section 47-26.8.1 of the ULDR, approving the site plan for development with an alternative design on said property, providing for conflicts and repeal, providing for defective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yeah, just one moment. Mayor, I should have done this earlier probably, but Dwayne, I just want to kind of go on the record and just confirm. So I'm participating virtually because I'm on military duty, and the updated resolution that we passed earlier in this meeting allows me to vote on quasi-judicial and public hearings and all other votes. I just want to confirm that.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's
Thank
correct.
you.
The resolution that the commission approved earlier is effective upon adoption.
Great. Thank you. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Thank you, Mayor. Yes.
You're just asking now after you just voted on all those items.
Just want to go on the record, make sure we're doing everything the right way.
Absolutely. Aye, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so where are we?
Commissioner Sorensen, did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and PH4 is now approved. Moving on to ordinance of first reading. This is an ordinance creating a new City of Fort Lauderdale Code of Ordinances, Section 8-35, to address timelines associated with dock waiver public notice procedures. No one has signed up to speak. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, creating a new Section 8-35 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, thereby amending public notice procedures for the Marine Advisory Board and providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, and effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OFR 1 is now approved on first reading. OFR 2, first reading, an ordinance amending the City of Fort Lauderdale Code of Ordinances, specifically creating Section 2-265 entitled Restrictions on Lobbying by Appointed Board and Committee Members. One person has signed up to speak. Mr. Dickerman.
Okay.
Commissioner Sorensen, you should have worn your uniform.
Missing my Panthers uniform is the only uniform that may be used. Thank you.
Okay, I've been asked to speak on behalf of Barbara Stearns, so these words are not mine. They're Barbara Stearns. I personally support the ordinance. Okay, this is Barbara Stearns. I am opposed to the long-awaited ordinance for the so-called ban on lobbyists serving on boards. While I oppose the ban in general for other reasons, I oppose this draft as it is nothing more than a toothless tiger written for selective enforcement. As written, the ban only applies to those who are required to register in Fort Lauderdale. There are plenty of lobbyists who are required to register and yet fail to do so. If you are going to ban lobbyists, all lobbyists know, regardless of if you lobby the City of Fort Lauderdale commissioners, Broward County commissioners, state senators, House members, or any other elected official, you should be banned from serving. You currently have lobbyists serving on boards who were appointed by Dean and Ben, again, this is Barbara, by Dean and Ben, approved by all of you who have not registered in the city. They should be banned, no different than a lobbyist who lobbies in Fort Lauderdale.
Does that complete your comments? Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none, any comments or questions?
So I think that's an interesting point, Mayor. We've had a lot of conversation. I don't support this at all. As a general rule, I think it's an impingement on First Amendment rights of free speech, and commercial speech is free speech. But if we're going to ban lobbyists, why don't we just ban all lobbyists? I don't understand why some lobbyists are good and some lobbyists are not good. Seems to me if lobbyists are inherently evil, then let's ban them all.
Okay.
Mayor, Dwayne, did you already add that you wanted to also add the Walk of Fame? I know that the CAM has the Citizens Board of Recognition, but are we also now all knowing that we're including the Walk of Fame?
If that's the desire of the commission, we can add it between first and second reading.
Yeah, I would think that we would need to add that because it seems to fit the categories where we're having carve-outs.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, I would ask that we have that. I support this first reading, but I would like to see for the second reading that we add that Walk of Fame committee as well.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? All right. Please call the roll. Oh, someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduce.
Okay. He gave me this look.
I thought I missed it. That's what. All right. In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 8 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to prohibit lobbying or lobbying activities by city board members or city committee members, more specifically amending Section 2-261 to provide for new definitions, creating Section 2-265 to prohibit the appointment of lobbyists to city boards and city committees, and to prohibit lobbying or lobbying activities by members of city boards and city committees, and amending Section 2-266 to provide penalties for violating Article 8, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, severability, repeal of conflicting ordinances, and an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
No.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OFR 2 is approved on first reading. OFR 3, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Chapter 17, noise control of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale. No one has signed up to speak. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending Chapter 17, noise control of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, specifically Section 17-7 entitled Specific Restrictions to establish standards for sound emanating from motor boats being operated, docked, moored, or tied to land, dock, piers, or wharves in or abutting the public waterways of the city. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Very excited about this. Yes. Thank you, city staff.
Vice Mayor Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OFR 3 is approved on first reading. Finally, we have OSR 1, a second reading, an ordinance amending the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations regarding special sign districts and the Broward County Convention Center. No one has signed up to speak. Would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
The ordinance has been introduced. Does anyone have any questions? There being none, please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida Unified Land Development Regulations, specifically Article 3, Development Requirements, Section 47-22.8, entitled Special Sign Districts, to create a new Section 47-22.8 2.8.2 entitled Broward County Convention Center Special Sign District, providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, providing for codification and scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herbst? Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 1 is now approved on second reading. Is there any further business of the commission?
Mayor, I have one question, point of clarification, if you can, and this, I guess, is for the city
Hurry up
attorney.
before, because
Yes,
I said
sorry.
I was going to close this
Interim
meeting
city
at
attorney.
7:45.
I'm sorry, interim city attorney, on the last item that we just talked about, is someone allowed to get up and speak on behalf of someone if they're not sworn in, or they didn't fill out a card, or is that proper what just happened, where someone is reading a statement of someone that's not here?
Yeah, that was a little unusual.
I just want to know if that's acceptable.
It's acceptable for an individual to, it's their time to address the commission. They can address the commission with whatever they would desire to
But don't
address
they
the
have to
commission.
be sworn? Don't they have to be?
No.
No.
Only
You
on
get,
quasi.
you're sworn on quasi-judicial items.
Ah, okay. Got it.
So if he was giving sworn testimony, then no, he could not. If it was a quasi-judicial matter, he could not offer testimony on behalf of someone
Somebody
else. But
else.
he's not offering testimony. He was making a statement.
Okay.
He could read a children's book if
Okay,
he chooses
I just wanted to
use
know
his-
for the minutes, for the record.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you for
Okay.
clarifying. Thank you.
No problem.
Do you have any? Is there anything further, Raquel?
Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Spence, do you have anything you want to announce?
No, sir.
Okay. This meeting is now concluded. Thank you very much.
so that it's held in place.